So today we're going to be talking about the Mark III Volkswagen Scirocco, and here's a cool fact. Did you know the name Scirocco originates from, or refers to, the hot wind that blows from the Sahara Desert to the Mediterranean? Bet you didn't know that. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about everything you need to know about the Mark III Volkswagen Scirocco. But before we do that, let's get into a little bit of history about the generations of the Scirocco. There are 4 generations of the Volkswagen Scirocco, and the Mark I started in 1977 and run all the way until 1981 when the second generation came into production. The second generation run from 1981 to 1992, but then they put a stop to the Scirocco. So when they stopped making the Scirocco, they replaced it with a Corrado, and that run all the way from 1988 till 1995. After this, no other sports compact car was offered by VW until 2008, when they bought back the Mark III Volkswagen Scirocco. So that brings us on to today's car, the Mark III, which run from 2008 to 2014, but was then given a facelift or a refresh and ran all the way till 2017, where I think the production ended, because on research I couldn't find anything else after that. So I'm not sure if the Scirocco's ended or if it's just on hold again like it was in the past. Who knows? But from 2017, I don't think there was any more. So there's a little history into the Volkswagen Scirocco, the timeline. Let's get in today's video and talk about the Mark III Volkswagen Scirocco and everything you need to know about it. Let's go. As always, it's raining here in North Wales, so I'm going to skim through the engine and the outside before we hit the interior, then hit the road. So the model you have before us is the 1.4 turbocharged 4-cylinder engine producing 123 brake horsepower, which will take you from 0 to 62 in 9.2 seconds and hit a top speed of 126 miles an hour. So there's a few different engines you can get in the Scirocco. So we've got the 1.4, the 2 litre, both being TSI. We've got the 2 litre TDI, and they come in different range of models. We've got the GT, GTS, and the all-out R model. So the heavens have opened, as always in this country, so we'll bring you on to the interior. Now, the Scirocco is a lovely place to sit. We have 4 seats within the Scirocco, very sporty looking seats, even the rear ones. Very comforting. I fit in these seats nice. I feel like I'm nice stuck into the cockpit, very adjustable. The cockpit is surrounded around me. I don't like it where you're too high in the cockpit, so it's a very nice seating position. In here we have a 6-speed manual. I'm pretty sure you can get a DSG. I'm not sure in the 1.4, but I know you can definitely in the R and some other top of the range models. We have some boost gauge here with the oil, a stopwatch, and the turbo boost gauge here. So for entertainment, we have a 5-inch screen here. We can connect our phone, it's Bluetooth. The sound quality in here, the speakers are actually really good. And we're getting into some styling of the interior. We've got some soft feel materials here. A bit lower down, there is some harder stuff, but you can't really see that. We've got some shiny silver here, some polished silver, which is a nice detail. As the years have gone on, it is a little bit dated in here. So on research of the Mark III Scirocco, I found a lot of things saying it's hard to get into here because there's not much room. So I'm a 6-foot guy, and they said it's specifically 6-foot people who struggle. Now I see what they mean. The car's very low, so you have to crouch the whole way down to get in here. They said there's not much room here. Let's just test it. Now you do have to crouch. You can see I'm like literally bent over here. There's plenty of room to get in, and then sitting in the back. Okay, this is the problem that they were on about. So leg room. There's not much leg room in the back. My knees are literally touching the seat here. Headroom's non-existent. I'm literally touching the roof. So I kind of see what they meant by that. The room back here is pretty non-existent. If you've got a child seat, also you're going to struggle getting your child in here for how low you got to bend down, and there's just not much room in the back of here. So I wouldn't say it's a very practical car if you're travelling passengers in the back. If you've got kids, not too bad because they're smaller, but big passengers like 6 foot, no. Coming on to boot space, 312 litres. Now it's not the best fit for a 6-foot Higgins, I'm afraid. So there's also 50-50 folding seats, so both seats go down. I can't really push them from here. Now you get a little bit more room. As you can see there though, the seats do not go flat, so it does take up a bit more space not having the seats flat. What you get in the boot, so you get a spare wheel, which you don't really get nowadays in a car. So obviously if you're going to buy one, check it's got a spare wheel and everything you need inside. The last point to make about the boot, if you are lifting heavier stuff in, due to the design of the Scirocco, with obviously this bit being very high, you may struggle lifting heavy stuff into the boot. because obviously you've got to get it up over that lip and then you've got to drop it down into the actual car. So yeah, heavy things can be a bit of a problem and a bit of a strain on your back if you're a taller person, because obviously I'd have to lift up and then bend down to put it in. The design is like this, as the Scirocco is just crazy in design, of course. If you have the base model, you will get some standard 17-inch alloy wheels, which are more comfortable compared to the GT model, which has 18-inch turbine style alloys. But with this Scirocco, we fitted 19-inch Mark III Audi TT wheels, and as you can see, they do fit very nice. So if you're looking for the Scirocco, there is a potential upgrade for you. Comparing the Scirocco to the Golf, the Scirocco is 93mm shorter, 11mm wider, giving it a big old booty, and the Scirocco sits 52mm lower to the ground than the Golf. Because the Scirocco is a bit wider than the Golf, that means the track is also a little bit wider, which also gives it bigger and meaner road presence. With all these slight differences from the Golf, the Scirocco has a lower centre of gravity, and the setup on the suspension is also different, giving it a much nicer and a little bit firmer ride feel. The Volkswagen Scirocco Mark III began in 2008 and it received in 2014 a facelift. This is the 2015 model, so we'll go through a couple of things that were changed. It had a new front bumper. The lower front bumper was based and designed from the Golf GTI. They updated the grille, and the headlights were also updated on the front end. The rear lights were also updated on the facelift model, and there's a few other bits like the 5-inch screen inside the car, but overall not much change from the facelift. There were complaints that it was still looking pretty similar. So boys and girls, we're going to go out on a little drive in the VW Scirocco. I'm going to tell you how it feels, pricing and some other facts, and some common problems and problems that I've read that people have encountered with this specific 1.4 model. So guys, brand new, if you were looking to buy one of these or this specific base model, you're looking at around £21,000 brand new. For this car, that is not that bad. It's a very nice car, well capable and well equipped. You can get the GT model, that was an extra £1,850 on top of the 21,000. I'm not entirely sure what you got with that. Obviously there will be some other goodies, probably some better handling and all sorts of other good stuff like that. Now the used price for the Volkswagen Scirocco, and it can be anything, because I'm going to talk specifically about this model, the 1.4. You're looking at around 5 grand to around 7,500 to 8,000. Obviously 5 grand being higher mileage and all that type of stuff. This specific model's on 100,000 almost. What did you get it on, Abby? 86,000 miles, and you paid 7 grand?
Yeah, 7 grand.
So yeah, around 7 grand for something like that. Touch wood, he's never had any problems with this car. So fueling the Volkswagen Scirocco, you're looking at around £70 to fill the tank, and it will do around 52.3 miles per gallon combined. That's what VW say. Right now in this particular one we're doing 43.2 miles per gallon, but this Scirocco doesn't really go on the motorway very much, so if you're on a motorway run, that would go up. And according to my girlfriend, when you fill this tank to the brim and you do a long run, it says you're going to get around 580 miles to a tank. Now if that's true, that is pretty impressive for a 1.4 petrol. I don't even see the point in getting a 2-litre diesel. So we'll come on to tax. To tax this for the year is £110, so it's pretty cheap. Obviously the efficiency and the exhaust gases are all pretty good on this car, and if you're looking at insuring it, this varies, but my girlfriend's 23 years old and she pays £850 for the year. So due to the price, you can pick these up today. The Scirocco is actually a very good car for any coupe buyer looking to buy a car on a budget. Right, so we're just coming to a bit of a windy road. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm not expecting... Okay. It's not fast. It is punchy. The turbo does help it. Yeah. The steering wheel, on research, you said it was quite heavy. I think it's a little bit light.
I don't think it's heavy.
It feels assisted. Yeah, definitely feels assisted. A little bit light, so I wouldn't say the steering was sporty, but this is not really a sporty model. So there's a few little bits and bobs in here, electricals of course. So there's 6 airbags in here for your safety. It's got traction control, it's got hill assist, so if you don't like rolling back, this car will hold you for a few seconds. Other than that, it's got ABS, all that stuff. There ain't that much in here, to be honest. You've got your climate control, air conditioning, other than that, that's pretty much it. Also to add, if you're getting dazzled at night by a driver behind with very bright lights, as nowadays everyone's got really bright lights, there is actually a button on the actual rear view mirror that you can press and it will dim the light for you. So that is a very good feature in the Scirocco. Now the Scirocco is a pretty big car and it weighs in at around 1,280 to around 1,450, somewhere around there in between that margin. So on driving it, I can feel that the back is very wide. I don't know, when I'm turning, it just feels like the back, it's got a bit more less reaction than the front. Obviously I'm turning on the front, but the back just feels wide, and it is wide, it's very wide at the back. Right, so coming on to handling. This Scirocco, even though the steering's very light, it's pretty direct. Like you turn, it turns. Now coming to a corner, what's it feel like? Very direct. On research, people said it was heavy and it didn't corner very well, but that cornered pretty mint, to be honest. It's very nimble. It's quick 1.4 in this. I'd love to see what the R version's like if this is this fast, and I'm stuck behind the fucking learner again. So I can't really put the car through its paces. But yeah, handling feels really nice. I would like the steering to be a bit heavier. There's no settings in here to make it change as in sports or anything, because this is not a sporty model. If you're looking for a car that's more practical than this, because obviously the boot space, it's big, deep, awkward to get stuff in. Back, if you're tall, it's not very good. There's not much room in the back for your head. If you want more practicality, I'd say go for the Golf. So coming on to the interior again, there is a couple of bits that I've worn. This car's on 100,000 nearly, and the seat is wearing. Not too bad, but it is wearing. This is the cloth interior, so it is wearing slowly. And where the boost gauge is, there's heat damage from the sun where it's flaking away, but other than that, it's really wearing nice in here. So we'll get on to a few bad points now. As I always say, every car's got some. From research, a lot of complaints about early on engine failure in the 1.4 that we're in today. This being because of timing chain stretching, piston rings going, also misfires due to injector faults. Yeah, but other than that, there's not really much else to report about the Scirocco going wrong. Obviously, if you get any of them symptoms of engine failure, it's going to be an expensive job for you, but this one's been good, 100,000. She's had no problems with it since she's owned it, and it's been a really good car for her. So overall, I would recommend the VW Scirocco as one of your potential buys. So that's the end of the video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed listening to me waller on about the VW Scirocco. Hope it's helped you decide if you want to buy one, and I do recommend it, so go and get yourself one if you fancy it. Don't let the problems put you off, because there isn't too many, to be honest. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.